Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Song of the summer. Let the debate begin, right? Yeah, exactly.
There's some good ones out there.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot to choose from. Good morning, America. It's great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on this Memorial Day weekend. We do have a lot to cover as we head into the unofficial start of summer, including the deals to look out for this weekend and why you should wait on some purchases until July 4th.
And good news that we all dressed in our patriotic red, white, and blue this morning. Also this morning, the Roman Catholic Church is on the way to naming its first millennial generation saint. Pope Francis taking another step toward canonizing a 15-year-old boy who died of leukemia in 2006. More on that still ahead. I know you were so interested in that story.
It's a fascinating story, so I can't wait to talk about that very soon. But we are going to begin here with the Memorial Day weekend on the move. We've got full team coverage, of course, of the travel in the air and on the roads, plus the weather threat after a busy week of severe storms. More dangerous weather in the forecast, including tornadoes likely in the heartland. And that's where we find Samara Theodore this morning in Oklahoma City. Good morning, Samara.
Good morning, Gio. Yeah, so the heartland, the South, they've been dealing with an onslaught of severe weather over the past few weeks. In fact, in the last week, we've seen at least 500 severe thunderstorm reports. Take a look at this video out of Davenport, Iowa, just before 9 a.m. yesterday. You can see the shelf cloud. And in Mississippi, we saw hail coming down, and not too far from Springdale, Mississippi, they actually had hail the size of baseballs. And here we go again. All right, so today, where I am here in Oklahoma City, we're setting up for severe thunderstorms. You can see they're stretching all the way from Kansas down to northern Texas. Timing on this around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, they're really starting to get going. Where I am right now actually has a level 4 out of 5 threat when it comes to severe weather. And there's a possibility that the Storm Prediction Center could raise that up to a 5 out of 5. That's the highest you can go. And it's there where we tend to see tornado outbreaks, violent tornadoes occurring. Then this threat shifts farther east as we head into Sunday. You can see throughout the Midwest, including cities like St. Louis, Louisville, Nashville, you have the highest tornado risk tomorrow. By Memorial Day Monday, first half of the day looks pretty decent, but for the East Coast along the I-95 corridor, folks traveling home that evening could be in for not only storms, but a flash flood threat. Back to you.
All right, Samara, we'll check back in just a bit. And millions taking to the skies this holiday weekend. We'll also be watching that forecast very closely. The TSA expects to screen 18 million travelers from Friday into next Wednesday. Jacqueline Lee is joining us from LAX with more. Jacqueline, good morning.
Wait, good morning to you. It has been moving all morning long here at LAX with the lines really backing up over at check-in. Now, TSA says they do expect this summer to be one of the busiest on record.
Ready for takeoff, the busy Memorial Day weekend crowds have descended on airports across the country.
We're flying into Tampa,
San Diego. We got here earlier, made sure that we get through security. We have all of our documents.
TSA is expecting more than 18 million travelers to pass through airport security checkpoints between Friday through next Wednesday, with nearly 3 million travelers on Thursday alone, marking the agency's second busiest day in history.
No, I wasn't expecting all of this. We're meeting up with our college friends in New Jersey / Philadelphia, Pocono Mountains.
But with more than 7,000 delays and cancellations across the U.S., severe storms are pumping the brakes, forcing ground stops at New York JFK and LaGuardia airports, and threatening to disrupt other flights throughout the weekend.
And TSA says they are ready for the influx of travelers. Airlines saying they are flying larger aircraft to accommodate more of those crowds, but there is still a nationwide shortage of air traffic controllers, which is partially to blame for some of those cancellations. Janae?
All right, so you gotta get to the airport early, plan that way. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. And now to the roads. Tens of millions of Americans are expected to travel by car this Memorial Day weekend, and there are already delays. Morgan Norwood joins us now live from Queens, New York, with what you need to know. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, good morning to you, Janae. That's right. Millions of Americans going to be driving to their holiday destinations. And as you pointed out, we're already starting to see some slowdowns and crashes. Let's take you right there. This was Boston yesterday. Cars engulfed in flames inside of a tunnel following a pileup. And then we had this wild standoff on this LA freeway, and it brought traffic to a standstill. We're talking about for hours during the peak of the travel rush. Now, while you can never plan for that kind of slowdown, I will tell you, timing is still key. It is critical. So you want to remember this: up early, or leave late. You'll run into the worst traffic between noon and 7, so head out early morning or in the evenings. Sunday and Monday afternoon still not looking good either. The good news is it's not going to cost you as much to fill up for your road trip. The national average for a gallon of gas is $3.60. That is down from last month, but still a little bit higher from last year around this time. It does get even better for folks down in Mississippi. That is where you're going to find the cheapest gas. The price does top out over in California, $5.12 a gallon. All of this according to AAA. The bottom line, though, the key here to a smooth Memorial Day trip is obviously leaving early and then planning ahead. Gio?
That's right. Leave early. All right, Morgan, thank you so much. We're going to turn now to the chaos and violence in Haiti, where 2 American missionaries were kidnapped and killed after leaving a church youth group in Port-au-Prince. Their murders coming as the capital deals with relentless assault of violent gangs. And Christian Cordero is in Washington now with the latest on this. Good morning to you, Christian.
Gio, good morning. Haitians have been subject to a surge in violence for months. These missionaries were there to help. This morning, the families of 2 American and 1 Haitian missionary are searching for answers and a way to bring their loved ones home. According to Oklahoma-based charity Missions in Haiti, 23-year-old Davy Lloyd and his wife, 21-year-old Natalie, were ambushed, shot, and killed, as was the group's Haitian director, Jude Montes.
I got a call from Jude again, and they had barricaded Davy and Natalie and Jude in my home. And the yard was once again full of guys with guns and just shooting at the house.
Davy's father runs Missions in Haiti. He tells us the attack happened as the group left a church with children.
And he just loved Haiti, and he told us as a young kid that he said, someday I'm going to be a missionary here.
Natalie Lloyd's father, Missouri State Representative Ben Baker, posted, "My heart is broken in 1,000 pieces. I've never felt this kind of pain." Violence has surged across Haiti since February, with criminal gangs taking control of the country. President Joe Biden standing alongside Kenyan President William Ruto just hours before the latest ambush, saying the U.S. will lend support to a Kenyan-led security mission in Haiti.
We can build with this way with a multinational approach.
Our Selena Wang sat down with Kenya's president and asked him about the 1,000 police officers heading to Haiti.
A group of missionaries, including Americans, were killed in Haiti last night by gangs. Can the Kenyan forces stop that kind of violence?
Yes. We believe we have what it takes. I think we have the best chance to deal with the gangs and to secure Haiti once and for all.
More than 1,000 Americans have been evacuated from Haiti since the violence escalated. UNICEF estimates more than 360,000 Haitians have been displaced. Whit.
All right, Christian, thank you so much. We turn now to the war between Israel and Hamas. This morning, international pressure on Israel is intensifying after the UN's top court called for a halt to the offensive in Gaza. Britt Clennett joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Britt, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, the fighting rages on in Gaza despite that ruling by the UN's top court ordering Israel to stop its very controversial military operation in Rafah. Now, Israel said the court ruling was outrageous. It said it was morally repugnant. It said it was disgusting. And it said that claims that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza are false, that it is acting within international law. Even though the ICJ it can make legally binding rulings in disputes between countries, in this case, it actually has no way of enforcing those orders. So instead, it has to rely on tools from other governments like sanctions or even arms embargoes to really press Israel into compliance. But this ruling, it is largely symbolic. It does add to Israel's increasing isolation that we're seeing on the world stage. Meanwhile, Egypt, it said it agrees to send UN aid trucks through the Kerem Shalom crossing, which is Israel's main entry point into southern Gaza. But really, it isn't clear whether those trucks will even be able to cross because of the ongoing fighting. Now, the UN says that after a rocky start, the operation to deliver aid from that US-built pier, it has stabilized, and that 97 trucks actually made it to the World Food Program warehouse. Janae?
All right, Britt, thank you for that update. Back here at home now to that American father who is back in the States this morning after bringing ammunition into Turks and Caicos. A court there giving him a suspended sentence. Zoreen Shaw joins us now with more. Zoreen, good morning. He's back in Pennsylvania after facing up to 12 years he could have gotten.
Yeah, Janae, what a surprising twist. I mean, Hagerich had pleaded guilty, and he said the ammo in his bag was from a different vacation 3 months ago, and that he'd forgotten about it and left it in there. Now, he could have gone to jail up to 12 years, but he was given leniency, and now he is back home. This morning, American Brian Hagerich back home. Hagerich was arrested when ammo was found in his luggage in Turks and Caicos.
Finally, after 101 days, I feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders.
GMA, along with ABC affiliate WTAE, capturing the emotional reunion between Hagerich, his wife Ashley, and their 2 young kids.
We have a lot of catching up to do, a lot of memories to make together. Just so elated to see them.
Brian, freed after a court ruling spared him from the 12-year prison sentence he could have faced. A judge making an exception, saying the sentence was unjust and disproportionate to the crime committed, and instead fining him $6,700 and giving Hagerich a 52-week suspended sentence, meaning he didn't have to serve it as long as he paid the fine.
My biggest concern is coaching my kids' baseball games tomorrow, and that is such a relief.
Now, the big question is if the 4 remaining Americans arrested on similar charges will also face similar rulings.
The other 4 Americans and their defense attorneys will try to argue that because there are so many similarities from a factual standpoint in their case, being American citizens, not having any kind of criminal record in Turks and Caicos, a lack of intent of actually bringing ammunition into the country, that they should have a similar, if not the same result as Brian Hagerich.
There is a lot of political pressure in this moment as well. A bipartisan U.S. delegation that traveled to Turks and Caicos and heavy engagement from the State Department on these arrests. Okay, so according to one senator who went on that trip, he says 65% of the GDP of Turks and Caicos goes towards tourism. And so the big question is, will we see changes in the warnings that we get when we travel to Turks and Caicos? And have these incidents create publicity or notoriety for the island? Gio?
Some big questions indeed, and those 4 other families watching closely. All right, Zoreen, thank you so much. We're going to turn now to Uvalde families. They are suing the makers of the AR-15 rifle. The lawsuit claims that the gun maker, Daniel Defense, the publisher of the Call of Duty video games, Activision, and social media giant Meta, the parent company of Instagram, all partnered to market the weapon to underage boys in the games and on social media. Now, the lawsuit was filed on the 2-year anniversary of the mass shooting that took the lives of 19 students and 2 teachers with.
Gio, Louisiana's governor signing a controversial bill reclassifying 2 abortion pills as controlled and dangerous substances. Opponents say the new classification will make it harder to prescribe the pills, but supporters say it will protect pregnant women from coerced abortions. Possessing the drugs without a prescription could lead to possible jail time.
Well, it is Memorial Day weekend and the unofficial start of summer. For the past 20 years, the Bethpage Air Show has served as the kickoff to summer there. Brittany Bell from our New York station, WABC, is there and joins us. Good morning, Brittany. You got to fly with them.
I did, and it was fantastic. I'm still a little sore this morning, but yes, this marks the unofficial kickoff to summer, and this is a highly anticipated event. So we're at Jones Beach, and just to give you some perspective, people are already trickling in just to get that perfect spot. And just taking it back a few days, people came to Republic Airport as early as Thursday in the rain just to watch the Blue Angels land, and even yesterday, over 100,000 people showed up just for the practice show. So that just lets you know the type of crowds that we are expecting today. Because of those crowds, officials are advising people to come early because the parking lot can fill up as early as 8 o'clock and the show starts at 10. And we have so many performances underway from all different branches of the military, including the Blue Angels, who are headlining the show this year, also the Golden Knights. And we will even see performances and demonstrations from many different civilian pilots today. So you can just see all different aspects of aviation. Back over to the Blue Angels, I got a chance, I had the honor, I should say, to fly with them yesterday, and it was truly an out-of-body experience. That was at the top of my bucket list, and I had one goal, one main goal for the flight. I did not want to pass out because my husband said I was. So coming up in the next hour, you'll see if I accomplished my goal and if I won the bet with my husband. Gio?
Brittany, that was,
yes,
that is a tease, and that's the question question we were all asking, did Jude black out? So I guess we're going to have to wait too. But
yes.
What did you say, Whit? Sweet helmet?
Yeah, sweet helmet and the visor. Looking sharp.
And we are all about proving your husband's wrong, Brittany, so fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you in our second hour here. And now we're going to stay on the Memorial Day theme here and the holiday weekend shopping bonanza. Alexis Christophers is here with a look at some great deals this weekend and some things you might want to put off buying, at least right now. Good morning, Alexis.
That is right. Good morning, Gio. It is one of the biggest blowout shopping weekends of the year. And while it seems just about everything's on sale, it may not always be the best deal. Depending on what you're looking for, it may actually pay to wait. This morning, whether you're in the market for a new refrigerator or a new power tool, there's a sale for you.
Save big on this season's trending styles that will make your home the perfect setting for summer get-togethers.
Mattresses seeing some of the deepest discounts, like up to $500 off this Tempur-Pedic Cloud. If kitchen essentials are on your wish list, this Vortex air fryer nearly 50% off at Target. And large appliances are on sale this weekend, like $200 off this Whirlpool washer at Lowe's.
You just want to refresh your kitchen or your living room or your outdoor space for summer, then this is one of the best weekends of summer in order to pick up those items at the best price.
Now's also the time to save money on winter and spring clothing as retailers make way for summer apparel. At the North Face, this kid's reversible down jacket, 40% off. And while there are enticing deals now on summer gear like grills and patio sets, try holding off until 4th of July sales for even bigger discounts. Or wait until the end of summer for blowout sales. And if you're on the hunt for tech like TVs and laptops, you'll want to wait for the next big shopping event, Amazon Prime Day in early July.
Things like handheld electronics, perhaps things that kids would need for school or when they're going off to college. You're often going to see really, really good deals for those. Usually when it comes to laptops, you'll see slightly better prices in July and in August for that back to school shopping season.
Now, unlike last year, many retailers are not extending their Memorial Day deals past this weekend. So if you're venturing out to the stores, arrive early for the best selection. And if you're shopping online, check for those extra promo codes before clicking buy. Quick Google search, it can save you money.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Alexis. We appreciate it. Let's go back and get another check of the weather. And Samara Theodore in Oklahoma City. Samara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So we're gearing up for severe weather here in Oklahoma City, but a lot of the Gulf Coast states are preparing for a scorcher of a weekend. Take a look at Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Sun shining bright there. They're actually on tap so far for their hottest year on record. And some of these numbers really high, substantial heat moving into places like Texas, for example, where we have excessive heat warnings already going into effect. I could feel like up to 118 degrees in Brownsville, Texas. Heat advisories in effect from San Antonio out towards Fort Stockton. The holiday heat continuing in areas like Miami. We could see temperatures in the 90s. So we are gearing up for a very hot Memorial Day weekend. It's so important that folks stay hydrated. And guys, summer's right around the corner. We're seeing these numbers in the triple digits. Heat can sneak up on you. I really do implore everyone this weekend to stay as hydrated and as cool as possible. Janae?
And that means hydrated with water.
Yes.
Very good reminders there, Samara. Well, still here on GMA this morning, we salute Captain Teresa M. Claiborne, who retired after 43 years of flying. Claiborne was the first black female pilot in the U.S. Air Force. She then went on to become a captain at United Airlines, where she worked for 34 years. She logged more than 23,000 career flight hours. Claiborne says she wants to spend her retirement inspiring the next generation of trailblazers.
Diversity is important. And we have a saying, if they can see it, they can be it. If little black girls don't know they can be pilots, guess what? That's not something they're going to choose. That's an opportunity that we give them.
Amen. Claiborne co-founded the Sisters of the Skies Foundation, which describes itself as an organization of professional black female pilots who are committed to supporting future black aviators through membership, professional development, outreach, and scholarship. That's why representation matters. Yep. And Whit, we got that because that was your closer last night, your ender last night on World News. Great story.
By the way, I mean, still an incredible pilot. They do have an age limit, though, for commercial airlines, so she kind of had to retire right know, but she could keep going.
Yeah.
And she's opened doors for so many people.
But Sisters of the Skies, an incredible organization.
Yes.
I've met them, and they're so passionate about this. It's
Our
really
transportation correspondent, and I knew you'd have some extra reporting there.
Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course. Coming up here on GMA, we're heading into the final stages of Donald Trump's hush money trial. How soon we could hear a verdict.
And beach safety tips from surviving rip currents to watching out for sharks just in time for the holiday weekend.
Plus, the top contenders for the Song of the Summer. Stick around. You're watching GMA on this Memorial Day weekend.
Hey, I'm Andy Mitchell, a New York Times bestselling author.
And I'm Sabrina Kohlberg, a morning television producer. We're moms of toddlers and best friends of 20 years.
And we both love to talk about being parents, yes, but also pop culture.
So we're combining our two interests by talking to celebrities, writers, and fellow scholars of TV and movies.
Cinema, really.
About what we all can learn from the fictional moms we love to watch.
From ABC Audio and Good Morning America, Pop Culture Moms is out now wherever you listen to podcasts.
We've got the exclusive view behind the table. Every day, right after the show, while the topics are still hot, the ladies go deeper into the moments that make the View the View. The Views Behind the Table podcast. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
1 minute I am a prince, charming and handsome, cutting a rug, and then the next thing I know, I'm tripping over these.
Welcome back to GMA on this Saturday morning. That, of course, is one of the many funny moments from The Princess and the Frog, starring the first Black American Disney princess, Tiana. Now, just in time for summer, Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens in the Magic Kingdom. It is a love letter to Tiana's New Orleans with big bands, great food, new creatures, and lots of fun. Tiana's Bayou opens on June 25th at Walt Disney World.
Can't wait for
That's
that
gonna be
ride.
awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And let's take a look now at some of the other big stories that we're following on this Saturday morning. Happening right now, millions across the heartland are facing the possibility for dangerous weather later today. Giant hail and destructive wind gusts are expected in parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri, with the possibility of tornadoes. The heat also continues around the Gulf Coast with record highs likely this holiday weekend in cities like Houston, New Orleans, and Miami.
Also right now, a 15-year-old boy is set to become the first millennial saint in the Catholic Church. Pope Francis and various cardinals will discuss canonizing Carlo Acutis, who died from leukemia in 2006. The boy was recognized by the Holy See on Thursday for a second miracle of healing a child of a congenital disease. 2 miracles, of course, are usually required by the Vatican before sainthood.
And the New York Rangers tied up the Eastern Conference Final against the Florida Panthers with a Game 2 overtime win Friday night. Barclay Goodrow scored the final winning goal 14 minutes into overtime, sending the crowds at Madison Square Garden into a frenzy. Game 3 between the Rangers and Panthers is tomorrow. You can watch every moment of it, right here on ABC starting at 3 p.m.
Thank you for that, Sports Janae.
Yes.
And we are going to start this half hour here with a closer look at the top political headlines this week, and there were so many. Joining us now are White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks and Deputy Political Director Avery Harper. Welcome to you both. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Avery, so let's start with you. Nikki Haley, this was a big surprise, now saying that she will vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, and it could nudge some of her supporters in the direction of Donald Trump. But I do think it's really important to take a listen to what she actually said. This was not a grand endorsement of Trump. She did not commit to campaigning for the former president. She simply said that she was going to vote for him. And that's a reflection of the choice that I think a lot of Haley supporters are going to have to make. Do they continue to support former President Trump? Do they cross party lines, vote for Biden or a third party candidate, or just sit at home and sit this whole election out? The Biden campaign believes that some of these Haley supporters are still in play. They met with some Haley supporters earlier this week to try and make that appeal to them. But whatever Haley supporters do, it's going to be a big deal come November.
And Mary Alice, I want to bring you right into that point because it was a big toss-up of what these Haley voters would do. What is the Biden team saying about this?
It's still a big question. I mean, the Biden team has tried to brush it off. They say, like Avery said, that they're not convinced that all of her voters just follow her. And they point out also, like Avery said, that she didn't say she was going to campaign for him. One Democratic staffer texted me and he said, if Nikki Haley in October is in Michigan at a VFW hall talking to Never Trumpers, that would be really scary to them. But look, I don't know if it's right to brush it off. I think it really could be a big deal. I mean, the Biden campaign is also trying to downplay the fact that a lot of young progressives are upset with him about Gaza. I mean, they have talked over and over about being able to make a pitch to these Nikki Haley voters. They're convinced that there are these kind of reliable voters who are maybe conservative, but who think that Trump is too hateful, has too much violent rhetoric, too much chaos. They're going to vote for Biden. If Nikki Haley is out there giving them cover, saying that she's willing to put his baggage aside, does that give them cover? Are they convinced they can put his baggage aside? I think it's a real question.
Even the tiniest shift could make a big difference,
100%.
too, in terms of who wins the election. Speaking of that shift, you've been covering, Mary Alice, the Libertarian Convention. And this is interesting because we have two candidates speaking there. RFK Jr. yesterday. Donald Trump is going to speak as well. What does this say about the state of campaign and what voters are looking for?
Well, look, I think it could be a really big deal if RFK was to get the Libertarian Party nomination. All of a sudden, he would be on nearly every state ballot. Right now, he's only confirmed as an independent on a handful. I'm not sure that's going to happen. That was what sort of made the convention really newsy. But I was there yesterday, and a lot of Libertarians were telling me they like RFK, but he's not a member of their party. But look, his speech was well received. This is the first full election cycle since the COVID lockdowns. And so his message railing against those lockdowns, railing against those mandates as a violation of personal liberty, it doesn't just land with libertarians. It's landing with a slice of the general electorate. So I think that he's obviously convincing some libertarians to give him a shot. Interesting that Trump, like you said, is also going to be at this event tonight. A lot of libertarians were pretty frustrated by that move. They see him as a Republican, as the opposition. They don't understand why he was invited to their convention, but he knows that every vote matters. He thinks that he can appeal to some of them. And look, a lot of libertarians sort of flirt with the Republican Party, but they also look at Trump and they think about his Muslim ban. They think about his argument that presidents should have full immunity, and they think that's not being a libertarian at all.
It's very interesting to see how RFK will do. And Avery, Trump, of course, still dealing with all legal issues. What are we going to see this week in New York? Because we've also got the Florida case.
Right. Well, in that hush money case here in New York, jurors will hear closing arguments starting on Tuesday. And then after that, the jurors can deliberate. So we could be on verdict watch. It's important to remember former President Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. If the jury finds him guilty, he could be the first former president convicted of a crime. That could have political implications for his White House run. And then in Florida, just overnight, we got some news that the prosecutors in that case are seeking an order from the judge to bar Trump from making statements that could pose significant risk to law enforcement. That comes after the former president made some statements, some false claims about that FBI search of Mar-a-Lago. And so we'll see what happens there. But that case has really been notable for the fact that it has moved so slowly. The case was actually supposed to go to trial this past week, but that was before the judge, Eileen Cannon. She made an announcement that she was going to be postponing the trial indefinitely. So it's unlikely now that we'll see that case go to trial before the 2024 election.
All right. Never a dull moment in an election here. Just several months away here. Here we go. Avery, Mary Alice, thank you so much. As always, we appreciate it. All right, let's go back out to Samara Theodore in Oklahoma City for a check of the weather. Samara dealing with the bug swarms as well. You holding up?
Yeah, I'm hanging in there. We're going to be dealing with storms this afternoon. The south is dealing with heat, but let's spend some special attention, give that to the northeast. Boston, Massachusetts, you can see the sun is out. Folks were enjoying themselves. Things are changing in the coming days. So here we go, timing it out. Your Saturday afternoon looks dry and warm, very comfortable. Temperatures in the 80s. Look back to the west there. You can see some showers making their way through, mainly on Sunday, especially in the afternoon farther west. Then Monday, Memorial Day. Your morning plans look great. By the afternoon, it starts to get a little sketchy. By the evening, that's when the rain moves east, and it's going to be some pretty substantial rain. So we could actually be in for flooding up to 3 inches locally in some of our major cities along the I-95 corridor. And before you guys start asking me, Samara, how's it going to be right here where I am for you, Whit, Janae, and Gio? If you're going to be kicking it on Memorial Day in New York City, it looks good to start the day, but by the end of the day, that's when things really just start to all fall apart.
Okay.
If we're going to be kicking it, Samara, is it the 90s?
Can you kick it? Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
You got it.
Samara, we cannot wait till you are back here with us. We will see you soon. And still coming up here on Good Morning America, as we head into summer, beach safety tips from surviving a rip current to a shark forecast. Stick around. Back now with what you need to know when you head to the beach, from shark sightings to rip currents. Morgan Norwood is back, coming to us from Rockaway Beach in Queens. I hope we did not make you walk from that other live shot, Morgan, with the tips for your beach safety day.
I mean, such a hard story assignment, and you got to be on the beach. But Memorial Day marks the unofficial start to summer, right? And pretty soon beaches like these all across America will be full of visitors. And speaking of that, officials want folks to be mindful of the dangers lurking within the water, from swimming to sharks to rip currents. It's important to know how to be prepared.
With millions of Americans beach-bound this Memorial Day weekend, this morning, experts urging beachgoers to keep an eye out for sharks. It comes after several recent sightings near Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Experts say it's that time of year when sharks typically feed on seals close to shore. But in rare instances, sharks have attacked humans.
I knew immediately, I got to get back in the boat.
24-year-old Marlon Wakeman bitten after falling into a shark-infested marina in the Bahamas earlier this month.
Obviously, it was terrifying, yes. Very, very scary.
And to avoid encounters like this, experts say never swim alone, stay in shallow water, and avoid swimming in areas where you see seals or people fishing. You can also check the Sharktivity app for shark sightings in your area.
If you're swimming at a beach where there's been a sighting in the last few weeks, it means there's sharks that use that area.
New York deploying high-tech drones to spot sharks in the water and swimmers in distress, with one of the biggest contributors being rip currents, like the one that exhausted this teen in Florida this week.
I yelled for him to swim to me, and his response was, I can't, I don't have enough energy.
And while this teen and those 3 rescuers made it out of the water okay, safety experts warn attempting a water rescue is harder than you think.
Do not go in if you're not a trained professional, because there's a lot of factors that happen. Is that you're in that turbulent wave. Another thing that you might encounter is that person panicking, and they're just clawing at you and climbing on you.
So how do you spot a rip current? Well, you want to look for where the waves aren't breaking. Those calm-looking areas, those are rip currents.
Promise me you guys will never get in where you see an area like that.
And if you're caught in one, the key here is do not panic or swim against the current, as our Matt Gutman demonstrated in 2022.
You start to exhaust yourself, and that's when it's harder to stay above water.
Instead, the first thing to do is flip and float to calm yourself. Then swim parallel to shore until you feel that current stop pulling. Then swim at an angle back to dry land. And if you can't get out, just float on your back and signal for help.
And look, it's not just rip currents and sharks that you need to be mindful of. Remember, sand castles and sand holes can be equally as dangerous. Remember, just a few months ago, a little girl tragically lost her life when a sand hole collapsed on top of her. But remember, with all of these dangers, it's important to swim near a lifeguard, but then also be mindful of the postage flags. You want to treat it like a red light. If you see a red flag, that obviously means do not go into the water. So be safe this weekend and on Memorial Day. Guys?
Some really important advice there.
And Morgan, you mentioned digging in the sand. I always tell my kids, and that's what experts say, no deeper than the knees of the smallest person digging. Yes. So remember that out there this weekend.
Well, you got a really small one now. Yeah. All right, thank you, Morgan.
Good morning, America. It's our second hour. Bracing for more severe weather. Millions across the country on guard this Memorial Day weekend for tornadoes, destructive gusts, and giant hail. The wild weather potentially making holiday travel treacherous with all-time record numbers in the skies and on the roads. We're tracking it all.
Ready, set, save! The best Memorial Day weekend sales dropping right now. Where to get the best bang for your buck, from furniture and apparel to home and even tech.
With summer officially kicking off, 'tis the season of grilling and outdoor meals. This morning, tips and reminders to serving food safely after a long day in the sun. Dr. Sutton is here with what you need to know.
Flying high in the sky with the U.S. Navy Blue Angels.
Wow!
Nice work.
Oh my God!
We're at the annual Bethpage Air Show, taking to the skies celebrating the 20th anniversary of the Memorial Day tradition.
You know, we tried out trending Memorial Day crafts and snacks. It's our series, Will It or Won't It? So we're going to tell you what worked and what didn't. So that's coming up.
And we are breaking down all the holiday travel from the roads to the skies. So many people expected to travel this weekend.
Absolutely. And because of that, we also want to get to our dangerous weather that we've been tracking in the forecast, including tornadoes, likely in the heartland. That's where we find Samara Theodore this morning in Oklahoma City. Samara, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. So it has been quite an active few weeks for the heartland for parts of the South. In fact, over the last week, we've seen at least 500 severe thunderstorm reports. We've seen 80 tornado reports, possibly more, in the last 5 days. Take a look at this video. This is on Thursday from Jackson County, Oklahoma. You can see the rotation here with this thunderstorm, just so prolific. And then Springdale, Mississippi had some hail coming down just outside of Springfield. They actually measured hail at about a baseball size. So we're gearing up for more of that today. But we have a very elevated risk today. First, I want to start with the timing. If you live in Kansas, southern Nebraska, Oklahoma, northern Texas, include cities like Dallas, Wichita Falls, we're looking at timing picking up 5, 6, 7 o'clock this evening. This area in red, this is where I am now in Oklahoma City. We're at a level 4 out of 5. We could actually see the Storm Prediction Center raise that to its highest level, 5 out of 5 this afternoon. And it's there where we could see potentially a tornado outbreak, not just any tornadoes, but violent tornadoes. Have those alerts ready this evening. What happens Sunday? This storm system shifts farther east. So now, hot zone includes St. Louis, Louisville, Nashville. You have the highest tornado threat, but we could see scattered tornadoes from Texarkana, damaging winds as far north as Chicago. Then by Memorial Day Monday, this becomes a problem on the East Coast. For the Northeast, you start off relatively quiet on Monday morning, but conditions will start to deteriorate from west to east, from Pennsylvania to the coastline. And it's there where we have the potential for substantial rainfall that could lead to flooding, and not just any flooding, but flash flooding along the I-95 corridor. This is something folks have to keep in mind if they're hitting the road Memorial Day evening on the East Coast.
All right, Samara, thank you. A lot of weather to watch there. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon. And turning now to this busy travel weekend, Jacqueline Lee is back joining us from LAX. Jacqueline, what are you seeing right now?
Hey, Gio, it has been moving all morning long here at LAX with the lines really packing up over at the check-in. Now, TSA is expecting this to be one of the busiest summers on record. There are more than 18 million travelers expected to be screened at airport security checkpoints through the holiday through next Wednesday. Now, the agency screened more than 3 million travelers on Thursday alone, marking the agency's second busiest day in history. But with more than 7,000 delays and cancellations across the U.S., severe storms are threatening to disrupt other flights throughout the weekend. Now, of course, we're talking about air. We have to turn to the roads. 38.4 million Americans are driving to their destination, but we are seeing slowdowns and crashes coast to coast. Experts say, of course, you want to hit the road early or late in the day to avoid that traffic. Now, guys, the most important thing, we got to talk about gas. The national average is about $3.60 a gallon. Unfortunately, that is a little bit higher compared to last year. Gio?
I will take it from here. And unfortunately for those parents who had the crying baby, hope they get that sorted out. Thank you, Jacqueline. Well, a New Mexico judge has denied a motion by Alec Baldwin's lawyers to dismiss the charges against the actor in the fatal shooting of a cinematographer on the set of his film Rust. Baldwin is scheduled to go on trial in July for involuntary manslaughter. Back in March, a jury found the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, guilty of involuntary manslaughter and negligent use of a firearm. She's now serving an 18-month prison sentence.
All right, now to the tense showdown between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. The T-Wolves up 12 points after the first half. Then Dallas pouring it on. Luka Doncic clutch with 3 seconds left, nailing this three to clinch the win for the Mavs. Now up 2-0 and heading back home to Dallas for Game 3. That's tomorrow. Meantime, tonight you can see the Pacers try to get their first playoff win against the Celtics. The action starts at 8:30 Eastern right here on ABC. Playoff basketball.
All the sports.
Right? Oh, yeah. Hockey. Yeah, it's all going on. All right. Coming up here on our GMA morning menu, we are flying high in the sky with a Memorial Day tradition with the U.S. Navy Blue Angels.
Did Brittany prove her husband wrong?
Yeah.
Husbands are never wrong. Also ahead, we're taking you off the beaten path with fun, easy day trips just outside major cities.
And Tori Johnson is here with some sizzling steals on summer accessories. We'll be right back. You're watching GMA on this Memorial Day weekend. Stick around.
Oh, that's cute.
people who disappear without a trace.
Where is she?
The most notorious murder cases in New York.
Pure evil.
And the most devious killers.
There's a Hannibal Lecter feel to him.
For chilling true crime stories, follow the True Crime NYC podcast wherever you listen.
When it comes to winning elections, is it really the economy, stupid? Are soccer moms the quintessential swing voter? And does it matter which candidate you'd rather share a beer with? Every election cycle, cliches come easy. But are they right? In a new series on the 538 Politics podcast, we're taking a look back at conventional wisdom from past elections. Where did that wisdom come from? And does it hold up today? Find the Campaign Throwback series in the 538 Politics feed wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to GMA on this Memorial Day weekend, and we have the biggest and best sales all happening right now. Alexis Christoforous is here with her roundup. Good morning again, Alexis. What you got?
Good morning, guys. All right, look, Memorial Day is the time for deals, right? And we've tracked down some of the best savings on everything from furniture and apparel to home and tech. And you can check it all out, all these deals, by scanning the QR code on the screen. So let's start off with a big ticket item, furniture. Memorial Day weekend is the perfect time to find some big savings there. Online retailer Wayfair is offering up to 50% off bedroom furniture and kitchen and dining. Also 60% off living room seating, and it doesn't stop there. Home office furniture and TV stands 40% off. All right, now let's move to apparel. Department stores are a great place to get the best bang for your buck for the whole family. Macy's has 40% off juniors clothing, 40% off dresses, 40 to 60% off men's suits, blazers, and pants. Macy's also has deals on a wide variety of home goods, including bedding, glassware, flatware, pots and pans. And for even more savings, you can use promo code MEMDAY. All right, now let's talk tech. Usually you think Black Friday, right? But Amazon has some good finds this Memorial Day weekend. Their Ring cameras are 20 to 44% off. Sony headphones from 18 to 50% off. And if you're looking for an iPad, they've got a deal, 24% off, a 9th generation model with 64 gigabytes. That's $80 off. And finally, Walmart giving us some great Dyson deals this weekend with $170 off the Dyson V12 cordless vacuum and the very popular Dyson Airwrap, also on sale at Walmart with $150. Gave you lots of deals, guys, so happy shopping.
That Dyson Airwrap is quite costly, so that's a good deal I might cash in on. Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you, Alexis. All right, we're going to turn now to the grilling season, enjoying meals outside. That's what this time is all about right now. And the USDA is sharing tips to serving food safety at your outdoor events. ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton is here with the latest. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so how should we be preparing food when you're doing it outside?
You know, first off, this is one of the most common reasons people come into the emergency room. Wow. 1 out of every 10 patients statistically that I see will have some form of food poisoning.
Really?
Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. So one of the best ways to help prevent this is making sure that you're separating your food. Separating perishable food like raw meat from your pre-cooked food, as well as lettuce and fruits. And also, speaking about lettuce, many people think about food poisoning as an association to raw meat and eggs and milk. But often bacteria love to thrive on lettuce. So making sure that you're washing your fruit and your vegetables, because that can be, unfortunately, a culprit of food poisoning.
Okay, good to know. All right, so when we're talking about like the danger zone temperature for food, like how do you know when something's been left out too long?
The thermometer is really, really important. You want to make sure that your cold food is kept under 40 degrees. When it goes above that, 40 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when bacteria love to thrive. And speaking of temperatures, when you're cooking your food, you also want to make sure you're cooking to the right temperature. So that minimum is 160 degrees for those hamburgers, 165 degrees for that chicken and that poultry. So making sure that your temperature is appropriate, because between 40 degrees and 140 degrees, that's when bacteria thrive the most.
I always feel like it's questionable things like potato salad.
It's always questionable.
It's like,
you never know.
It's a hot day. It's been out there.
Yeah.
Color changes hamburger.
Especially Whit usually puts raisins in his potato salad.
That's disgusting. So. But if it's out there for longer than 2 hours, you definitely want to throw it out. Okay. If it's a warm day longer than an hour, you also want to get rid of it.
Got it.
I'll try your raisin potato salad. That
Don't just shave the layer off the top and then put it back in the fridge. Got it. Doctor, I've never done that before. Maybe. Dr. Darian, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, let's turn now to ringing in Memorial Day weekend with a tradition in the sky. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels, they're flying at the Bethpage Air Show on Long Island this weekend. And Brittany Bell from our New York station WABC had the chance to ride along. Brittany, we've been waiting all morning. Did you pass out? What happened?
I came close, but I did not pass out. So I accomplished my goal and I proved my husband wrong, which is what's most important, right? But you know what? It was a life-changing experience. I can't think of anything that could come close to this. It was also physical, too. I woke up sore this morning because we had to do so much bracing with our core and our lower body to prepare for all the G's that we pulled. And just to mentally prepare, I watched so many different videos, but there is nothing like actually physically being up in the air in an FA-18 Super Hornet with the Blue Angels. I consider myself a thrill seeker, but this will test my limits.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I know I'm in great hands with Lieutenant Connor O'Donnell.
Here we go.
All right. We kicked off the flight with a sharp climb and a roll, and I immediately had to put my breathing to the test.
Nice work. We're gonna roll.
Our first maneuver, a barrel roll, going upside down.
You look above us, or below us, I guess. You can see our smoke trail on the water. Oh, yeah.
Now, time for the higher G move.
Get it.
First, a minimum radius turn. A left turn starting out at 7.5 Gs.
Oh, my gosh. How do you do this all the time?
Time to fly upside down.
Oh my God! There you go. That's -1 G right there. I want to show you the highest G maneuver that I show riders. It's called the sneak to vertical rolls. We'll accelerate to just under the speed of sound, and then we're going to go straight up in the air. Here we go. Ready, hit it!
That was 7.4 Gs, and this was the one time in the flight that I almost blacked out.
Wow!
And then we went the opposite direction, going weightless.
Like we're floating.
And our last move, the carrier brake.
I do have to say, you have done an amazing job. I've never done these maneuvers so close together. It sounds like you're having a great time.
And it just still feels like a dream this morning. I want to thank again my aviator, Lieutenant O'Donnell. He was a rock star. So was the entire Blue Angels crew. So they are the headliners for the performance today here at the Bethpage Air Show. They go on at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and we have many other performances too scheduled earlier in the day. But back to the flight, it was fantastic, and I hope you guys aren't watching us from home right now, because at a certain point they had to put these little baggies on our leg, just in case you got sick. And I don't really get queasy often, but I got close to needing one of these, guys.
I got close to though. We're impressed.
Yeah.
You didn't pass out. You did not need the barf bag. I won't name names, but we've had other people here at ABC News who couldn't get past either one of those.
Right.
So, and you proved your husband wrong, right? That's what it's all about.
Oh, no one else is clapping. All right.
Thank you, Brittany, for being brave for us. We appreciate it. All right, let's get a check of the weather and go back to Samara in Oklahoma City. Samara, good morning once again.
Good morning, Whit. Wow, Britt's a rock star for that. I'm going to keep my feet right here on the ground. All right, so we are headed to Winter Park, Colorado, and they don't call it Winter Park for nothing. We're only a few weeks away from summer. They're still open. You've got time to get your runs in. They've seen about 406 inches over the season. This is the second longest ski season for them, but they are closing this Memorial Day. Now, if you want to warm up, you got to head a little farther south. Look at this record heat getting ready to move into Texas. We have excessive heat warnings already issued for places like Brownsville, heat advisories for Victoria, San Antonio, and for those living in South Florida, also in for some major heat as we head through the weekend. Miami in the low 90s.
All right. Tori joins us now with Deals and Steals. And this morning we have summer accessories, all from small businesses, so you can look stylish and have fun all season long. Tori, I'm already loading up my shopping bag. Look at these.
Top it off. This is like the perfect poncho for summer.
Oh my gosh.
And I were both like spitting out all the different ways, like a beach cover up. It's a little bit chilly on the flight. You want to just pop something over when you're going going out to dinner, or it's a chilly night, you're at your desk at work,
so
whatever
cute.
it is, they've got a style. They come in a variety of, they've got both designs as well as words on it, all about celebrating summer. These are 50% off, $28.50
Just
today.
light enough.
Yes, just light enough. Perfect weight for Nat.
Okay,
Yes.
comfy shoes and sandals.
So this is Spenco, and what I love about this is that it's an orthotic-based, podiatrist-approved line of shoes that's really all about comfort and safety when walking. So we've got the outsoles that have this traction, so you don't have to worry about slipping. They're also water-friendly, going to be easy on your feet when you're outdoors this summer. Huge assortment, not way more than what you see here. All that you'll find online, slashed in half, 50% off, plus
free shipping.
You got it.
Perfect.
You got it. All right,
all these
AJ Morgan,
sunnies.
can't go outside. We
Oh
put
my
a little assortment here
gosh.
for you to, you could do some modeling for us. I know you're shy. So we've got a big assortment from AJ Morgan. Not only are they super stylish, so blue, pink, there's different color shades. What I love is that you can match your mood. You know, what kind of mood are you in today? You're going for the cat eye. You want to be, if you want to be super incognito, we got the oversized, bold frames, a really big assortment, but not only, again, are they stylish, they've got UV 400 protection, which is really important. So you're going to protect your eyes when you're out in the sun and look fabulous at the same time. Whole selection, 50% off, starting at $12.
Protect your eyes, but make it fashion.
You got it.
All right, bling bling.
Bling bling from Sterling Forever. I love this jewelry because it's fun, fashionable, stylish, and it's affordable. So it's really great for summer travel. When you want to leave your really expensive stuff at home,
good.
These right here, these are the croissant style hoops. Yes, super trendy, as are these
cute.
Right here, these CZ dangle hoops right here. Look at those. You could hold one up. We could do a little test. See, are you the croissant hoop, the dangly? You like sparkle. I know you like a little sparkle. Yeah, a little sparkle to go with that big sparkly smile. The whole assortment from Sterling Forever to layer up, to just mix and match with your current collection, $10 to $30.
Amazing.
Really good. All right.
Okay.
When you want to pack more stuff,
yes.
packing cubes are so smart. They are really the genius way to be able to fit more stuff either in your carry-on or your check luggage. What I also love about these is that they're squishable. So there's a lot of stuff that's packed into here, all into this tiny little space.
So good.
And then you can like just squeeze it in there if you have to. So these are great for packing your luggage. You're going to want to put on your luggage one of their luggage tags that helps you spot your bag among a sea of them. Those are fun because they're unique styles and patterns. When you get on the plane, you want to be able to have the most comfortable.
Okay, so you're going to be set for everything.
Neck
pillow.
And then when you get to your destination, you've got the satin pillowcase to just pop on the hotel pillow. These are really fabulous. They also have a zipper on the side, so they're not going to slip off. Hang accessories really has you covered. I like the little puppies here too.
Oh my God.
Everything 50% off, starting at $7.50.
So good for travel. Oh my gosh, must
And then finally, we've got Ruby Ribbon. This is the easiest way to ditch a bra and instead switch to this because no underwire. Instead, the construction is super supportive, so there's no digging, pinching, poking, none of that stuff.
None of it.
Just super comfortable and super supportive, which is really their claim to fame. The support is there even without the underwire. We've got a big assortment, even including a bunch of fun kimonos from them too. Everything is at least 50% off or more, starting at $20.
Amazing. Holiday shopping starts here. Each of those deals are on our website. And stick around, more GMAs coming up.
All right, time to win the weekend now. And one moment that is winning the internet, Grace Goodwin decided to tell her family the happy news of her pregnancy using some fake scratch-off lottery tickets. And while no one won the lottery, they did have a winning reaction. Check this out.
I'm not even joking, you guys. Look at it. 33 and 33, it says we're having a baby. Who do you think?
So that means...
Are you having a baby? Are you having a baby?
Wow.
Oh my gosh, that reaction. Grace posting the video to TikTok where it's gotten over 3 million views. Are you having a baby? Writing the caption, I can't get over my sister's reaction and my aunt looks like her soul left her body. They've been wanting to have a baby for so long. Congratulations. How cool is that?
There is so much joy in that family.
We weren't nearly as creative as like all these folks on the internet now. It's just like, hey, we're having a baby.
I know. My mom was like, you seem tired. I am.
Yeah.
Bring on summer with Dunnes Stores. Fire up the grill with 3 for €10 on a range of meat and fish, like succulent ribs, chicken, flaky salmon, and juicy beef burgers. Served in fresh buns, rolls, and wraps. Mix and match 3 for €3. And a range of delicious sauces, only €1.50. Plus, you can save at the till with a 10 off 50 grocery voucher. Dunnes Stores. Always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used from next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Bird flu has been found in beef for the first time in the U.S. The U.S. Department of Agriculture announcing that the meat from the single sickened dairy cow was not allowed to enter the nation's food supply, meaning that beef is still safe to eat. The agency says that even if contaminated beef were to be sold, cooking it at an internal temperature of 165 degrees would kill the virus.
Okay, good information there. Kansas City Chiefs Travis Kelce is speaking out about teammate Harrison Butker's recent commencement speech, during which he called Pride Month an example of the deadly sins and said a woman's most important title is homemaker. Kelce talking on his New Heights podcast, saying that while he doesn't agree with the majority of Butker's comments, he won't judge him by his views, adding that he has nothing but respect for his teammate.
And Caitlin Clark has her first WNBA win. Clark and the Indiana Fever beat the Los Angeles Sparks 78-73 Friday. She had 11 points, 10 rebounds after missing her first 7 3-point attempts. Number 22 finally made one with just a little more than 2 minutes left in the game. Killing it in the WNBA.
Absolutely. All right, now to some advice this Memorial Day weekend. If you're looking for a last-minute getaway, travel expert Davey Sutton joins us now with a wheel of fun travel ideas. Davey, it's great to have you. Good morning.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good. So we're going to have some fun with this because we've got this wheel over here, and you've got some ideas for us for each of these cities. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel and see where we're going. What do we got? There it is. We're going to Philly. So what's your recommendation there?
Yeah, Philly, many people when they visit Philly, they like to do those American historical tours, visit the Liberty Bell. That can be quite crowded, especially this time of the year. So if you go about 30 minutes out to Valley Forge National Park, then you can take some of those historical tours. They do reenactments on occasion. There's lots of trails for hiking, or you can just relax and do a cookout. So the key here is to look for those sites, those historical sites that are outside of those main sites, or visit state parks. State parks aren't as advertised as those national parks, so you can avoid some of the crowds if you choose that route as well.
And some of the national parks need reservations, right?
Yes, sometimes you have to reserve for the reservations. I always like to keep my eyes on state parks.
Okay, good to know. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel again. Wheel, travel. Los Angeles, what do you suggest we do in that area?
Summertime reminds me of beaches. Sun's out, buns out.
Just wait.
Sun's out, guns out. I didn't hear that version before.
Los Angeles has lots of many beaches, but if you go about an hour and a half north along the coast to Oxnard, California, then you will see those scenic cliffs, and it's less crowded, and they have some tide pools there. It's also the closest port to see the Channel Islands, which is very remote, so you can go there. And the Channel Islands in particular is where you can see marine life. That's actually where I saw a super pod of dolphins. Wow. Yes, and a super pod, for people that don't know, is my marine biologist told me that 1,000 dolphins descended around our boat. But the key here is if you just drive a little more out, find those remote beaches, then you can avoid some of the crowds. And if you're going to take a road trip, I like using apps like Waze. Even if you know where you're going and the direction, it can help you avoid some of those obstacles like traffic and construction. And it'll also alert you when those troopers are out so you can manage your speed.
I love that. So I also love that we're doing domestic destinations right now. So let's get that wheel up again because we're going to do it again. Let's spin it. Here we go. Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, but if you drive less than 2 hours outside of Atlanta, you'll go to Chattanooga, Tennessee. It's known as the Scenic City, and that's because of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Everywhere you look, there's Blue Ridge Mountains, and there's experiences like Rock City and Ruby Falls. It's also home to the Chattanooga Choo Choo, which is a historical train that is now an entertainment complex.
And it's also near one of the largest hang gliding spots in America. And also, I went hang gliding there a couple of years ago, and it was really easy to do and easy to get to from Atlanta. And another key here.
Is it scary?
It's a little scary when you land, but when you're there and you're like floating.
Just so you know, he just rappelled down the Empire State Building.
I love
rappelling.
So you're like the adventure guy. Awesome.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
and the
awesome.
Chattanooga Choo Choo. Who knew? Looking forward to that.
Choo Choo, who knew?
Choo Choo, who knew? Thank you so much. It's so great to have you here. Coming up on GMA, Will It or Won't It? Memorial Day edition. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back now with Will It or Won't It? That's where Will Gans puts lifestyle tips to the test, so we don't have to. And this morning he's trying out some DIY. Oh,
right there it is.
Of course.
So
these are Memorial Day. These are perfect for Memorial Day. Will, welcome back. And you got something about decor first, right?
Yes, this is the patriotic decor hack that TikTok can't get enough of. It's a centerpiece featuring Lady Liberty, some stars, some lights. Video from user Circnomics have racked up 97 million views, which is 1.5 times more than the entire population of the UK, you guys. You start by filling a wine glass with ornaments and these vase filler water beads to keep everything in a place. You flip it upside down, lay it in, then you put Lady Liberty on top, add some lights, some more stars. Then you fill the whole thing with beads and with water, you guys.
Wow, look at that.
So
will it or won't it?
It won't, and it violently won't. Okay, these water beads. Take some of these. Try. Imagine working with this all afternoon. They're all over my apartment. They're bouncing around the countertops. They're falling onto the floor. They're under the bed. It's like that scene
Sound like children.
from Flubber. Yes.
By the way, somebody's going to slip on that thing and just go
Let's
down
clean these up before David Muir gets back in here next week, you guys. All right. Anyways, not only was I feeling less patriotic after making this, I was looking at one-way flights out of the country to get as far away from America and that centerpiece as possible.
Okay.
It won't.
All right, got it. Okay, and next up, you got another centerpiece for us, right?
Yeah, and this one was just slightly easier, you guys. So the deal with this is you're going to take a square vase. We spotted this on TikTok, by the way, from user 5footfeminine. You put a square vase inside a larger vase. The middle one is filled with water, of course. You put napkins around for a pop of color. Then you make that grid with Scotch tape, pop your florals in, and that's what it's supposed to look like. Here's what mine ended up looking like.
That's all right.
It's all right.
Okay.
So will it or won't it? I'm going to say it won't, but I think with someone else doing it, it might.
It could for someone else.
The tough part
tape
is
skills,
the tape, if your Scotch tape is showing or your napkins get wet, which both things are likely to happen, it ends up looking a little cheap, but in better hands, I think it
The
can.
flowers are nice. Are those real?
Yeah, those are real flowers. I grew them myself, so.
Truly?
So will it or won't it? Officially, it's the
won't.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, got it.
Grew them yourself? Okay. Chocolate-covered strawberries, red, white, and blue?
Yes, let's get into the best part of any holiday weekend, the food, you guys. So these are red, white, and blue strawberries, and we saw these on TikTok as well.
I'm not going to tip you.
And what you do is you dip your strawberries in white melting chocolate about 2/3 of the way, then you dip 1/3 of the way with the blue melting chocolate, and what they end up looking like is what we have on this plate right here. And for this one, I'm going to say it will. Yeah, and it's a great thing to do with kids because it's an easy job for kids to dip. Maybe one kid does the white part, one kid does the blue part, and then you have your final product here.
And we already started biting into these, of course, Janae first.
Yes.
Flower pot sugar cookies.
Flower pot sugar cookies, yes. So these are a hack that we saw on Instagram, from a user that racked up 200,000 likes for these. So what it's supposed to look like is that right there. So you've got the pot at the bottom with chocolate mousse inside. That's your dirt and a crumble on top. And then the flowers are supposed to be strawberries that are carved to look like roses. What mine ended up looking like...
Yeah, yours don't look like that, Will.
This was my second biggest fail of the day. So it was really tough. I had to ditch the flowers entirely. But I will say that the cookie part ends up tasting delicious.
Really? The cookie?
It is. Yeah.
The
So
cookie
it's
part is
a
really
sugar
good.
cookie that you bake in a mini muffin tin. And yeah, so this one I'm going to say it won't, but it's not a total fail because...
Well, we say it will because it tastes really good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate it. All right, we'll be right back. But first, we're going to check in with Samara here in Oklahoma City for another check of the weather. Hey, Samara.
Let's do it. Good morning. I know a lot of us are gathering with our friends and family this Memorial Day holiday, but let's not forget we are honoring those who served and have fallen. And if you're headed to any of the events in our nation's capital, live look right now in Washington, D.C. Pretty beautiful conditions at the moment. Things will start to deteriorate, though, on Memorial Day. We are tracking rain in the forecast for the I-95 corridor, specifically Monday afternoon and evening. Elsewhere, pretty hot in the Gulf Coast states, beautiful on the West Coast, lots of sunshine, but we have an imminent threat today, and that is the threat for severe weather. That zone in red from Kansas to Oklahoma City has the highest risk for tornadoes and potentially violent tornadoes.
Still finishing up here.
I know, right?
The strawberry.
You got that one down fast.
No, nope,
Wow.
still chewing. Forgive me.
Now to Saturday's GMA Buzz Pick. It is Return of Ellie Black, a page-turning thriller that will keep you guessing to the very end. Here's the author with more.
Good morning, America. I am Emmy Cogine, author of The Return of Ellie Black. This book features Chelsea Calhoun, a small-town detective whose life is forever changed when Ellie Black, a missing teen, resurfaces in the Washington woods 2 years after her disappearance. But Ellie won't say where she's been or what happened to her, and Chelsea questions what Ellie is hiding and why.
Ooh, that sounds good, right? The Return of Ellie Black is available wherever books are sold. Keep reading along with us on our Instagram at GMA Book Club.
It was a little hard.
Yeah, we got through it. We got the snacks, got the buzz pick, all good. Coming up here, how to rewire your brain when it comes to dealing with stress, the easy practices that you can start this morning to make a big difference.
Welcome back to GMA, and we are celebrating Mental Health Awareness Month, taking the time for self-care. Dr. Aditi Nerurkar has written a book to help the 5 resets rewire your brain and body, and is here with some tips. Thank you so much for being here, Aditi. So first off, you say not all stress is bad, and more importantly, we are not alone in the struggle.
That's right. Not all stress is created equal. In fact, there are 2 kinds of stress. There is healthy, productive stress, like rooting for your favorite sports team and falling in love, getting a new job. And then there's unhealthy stress, the things that you and I know are things that make us stressed out and are not great for your brain and body. The good news is that both these kinds of stress can bring your life forward. And when you are feeling a sense of stress, understand that you are not alone. It is not your fault. And studies show that in a room of 30 people, 21 people right now are struggling with stress and burnout. It's a real problem.
Oh my gosh. So you just took a very optimistic approach to stress. I love this. This can help. So it can be hard though when it comes to taking action, to getting healthier and cutting stress, but you have an easy place to start. You say it's a resilience rule of 2. Explain that.
So Janae, the resilience rule of 2 is how your brain responds to change.
Okay.
And so when you have any change that you're making in your life, even positive changes can be a stress to your brain.
Yeah.
So aim to make 2 small changes at a time if you want those changes to stick. Anything more in your system is overloaded. That's why things like New Year's resolutions, when we do 10 or 20 things at a time, it fails because it's everything but the kitchen sink. Our brains and our bodies can't handle that. So focus on 2 small changes at a time.
Okay, I like that. And even the idea of 2 small, like that okay, I can do that. 2, that doesn't feel so overwhelming. You also say that digital boundaries are important when it comes to our mental health. You have an easy first step. I love the idea of this easy. So tell me the easy way about grayscaling our phones.
Grayscaling your phone is switching your phone off of color mode and into black and white mode. It's the quickest reset for your stress. And what it does is it makes scrolling less addictive, less enticing, and it can decrease your screen time and overall sense of stress, so you feel more in control, particularly at night when so many of us are doom scrolling and not sleeping enough.
Okay, Aditi, this is a tool that I will make happen right now and see how it works, because I love this idea. Another helpful tool when stressed is something you call Stop, Breathe, Be.
Stop, Breathe, Be. We should do it together.
Okay.
It's a 3-second exercise that can reset your stress, get you out of what if anxious thoughts about the future, and get you grounded in the here and now. Get you out of what if thinking and into what is. So stop. You want to just pause for a second. Breathe. Take a deep breath in
and out and just be. So it's 3 seconds, and you can do this over and over throughout the day. Maybe right before you join meeting, click Zoom, or when you're turning the doorknob to go get your kids or run to the grocery store, all of the things that we do in the day that cause us a lot of stress. Stop, breathe, be.
I think of that moment after you close the door when you've got the kids in, you've got a moment to yourself as you walk around to the driver's side. Stop, breathe, be. Thank you so much, Dr. Aditi Narukar, for being here. The 5 Resets is out and available now, and we'll be right back here on GMA.
Okay, and we've got a little bit of breaking news as we end this. If you were flying yesterday, you were part of this record-breaking travel day. The TSA screened more than 2.9 million travelers. That's the most in its 22-year history.
In one day?
Those beaches are going to be full. Have a good, safe weekend.
Yes.
And look, the 5 Resets, Dr. Aditi Narukar, we have already changed our phones.
Made the change.
There you go.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great weekend.